Hey guys, welcome to the April 27th edition of Raw Recap, brought to you by WrestlingRumors.net. Guys, please subscribe to the WrestlingRumors.net YouTube channel, and make sure you check us out on WrestlingRumors.net. As always, the beautiful Sam Daley is with me. I am Adam Daley. Tonight we're going to kind of do a little Raw recap for you guys, but first we want to break some unfortunate news out of the wrestling world, some very saddening news. Verne Gagne, legend, all across the board. It doesn't matter, where you're at, what generation you're from. Verne Gagne is an absolute legend. Has passed at 89 years of age. Mean Gene Okerlund actually broke the news on Twitter. He's not only was he a 16-time champion, he's most notable as the AWA promoter. And he's only one of 6 men that has been inducted into the WWE, WCW, Pro Wrestling, and Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fames.
That's crazy. And it's a sad day in the wrestling world that he's gone.
It's unfortunate news.
Condolences to his family.
Condolences, positive vibes, thoughts, prayers, everything out to the friends and family of the whole Gagne family. And it's always unfortunate starting it with such down news, especially when you lose such a great mind. But
let's go ahead and jump into Raw.
Absolutely, let's get into Raw. So we started off tonight with. Instead of starting with the Seth Rollins angle, guys, we kind of want to start with what was the real excitement of the night is King of the Ring. Mm-hmm. So, Sam, let's get to King of the Ring first. We have Wade Barrett and R-Truth advancing tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. We have Sheamus and Neville advancing tomorrow night, and we're going to get to the matches in a second, but Wade Barrett defeated Dolph Ziggler, and R-Truth defeated Stardust. Of course, Barrett got the win because of some Sheamus shenanigans, fella. What were your thoughts?
About the Sheamus Ziggler match?
Yeah, both of those matches.
Both of those matches. Yeah. They pretty much ended how I thought they were going to end. Okay. No real surprises there. I was surprised R-Truth got it over Stardust. That was a shocker.
I was too, yeah. I really was.
Shock. I really wasn't investing too much into these matches because I assumed there was going to be some type of interference between both Ziggler and Sheamus matches, so it really wasn't that much of a surprise that Sheamus came out and interrupted Ziggler and cost him the match, and then Ziggler came out and attacked Sheamus, causing him to get the DQ and to actually win the match instead of Dean Ambrose.
Right, so. Which gets us into the bottom bracket where Sheamus defeated Dean Ambrose via disqualification because Dolph Ziggler now retaliates on Sheamus, basically gets involved. Although, he gets involved, but he kind of got Sheamus into the next round.
Yeah. You can say he was going out for revenge, but, he kind of got the job done for Sheamus. He didn't even have to pin Dean Ambrose, and he still won. Dean Ambrose just can't catch a break.
He can't catch a break. And Neville going over Luke Harper, which I thought of the 4 matches was hands down the best of the 4. Mm-hmm. Again, Neville just continues to impress.
He does. That was the best match of the night, in my opinion.
Okay.
I enjoyed it, all the different move sets that he has. They have so much in Neville, and they're showcasing it so well. Yeah.
The thing about Neville is he's so fluid, he's so crisp. Everything that he does just looks, especially when they go to that slow-mo camera, everything is just so on point, just seamless. And, I don't know. I think, and I think you're going to talk about this. They may have something special in Neville, but what your predictions may lead into a conversation. So who do you have with Barrett and Truth, Sheamus and Neville for King of the Ring tomorrow night? Who do you have advancing in both matchups?
Barrett and Neville.
So you have Wade Barrett going against Neville in the finals for King of the Ring.
Just imagine if they actually do put it on Neville, how amazing that would be. I never would have thought that they would have actually gave Neville that King of the Ring spot. I thought he was going to get eliminated in maybe second round, third round. But now I kind of see them actually giving it to him. Surprisingly.
Okay. And what's interesting...
He's doing amazing, and they're putting him over so much. Why wouldn't they give this to him?
So now do you think that we see tomorrow night, again, we see another run-in by Dolph Ziggler that might cost Sheamus the match?
Possibly. I can definitely see that.
Okay. Now, let me throw a curveball at you. What happens if Dolph Ziggler does it again, but costs Neville the match? What if Sheamus keeps advancing because of Dolph Ziggler?
That'd kind of suck.
Right, but I think they would rectify that. I do think that they want Barrett versus Neville, as far as in the finals go. I think there's something, there's kind of something poetic about it, considering there's 2 Englishmen going for the King of the Ring. Mm-hmm. There's something very regal about that. I like that idea. Who do you have as your winner?
I'm torn. I'm tied. My heart wants Neville, but my head says Barrett, so I'm tied.
Okay, so tell me why you think Wade Barrett.
Wade Barrett just makes most sense. It would give him something to do while Daniel Bryan's out with an injury, and it can basically be a substitute for that IC title, having him be King of the Ring. So that way people maybe won't complain about the IC title not being around for a few weeks until Daniel Bryan comes back. Maybe that's how they keep the title on him without stripping it from him.
Okay.
So who knows? But they might just give it to Neville to elevate Neville's. Who knows?
Hey, he's already kind of got the cape or the thing. Just add a crown on.
Yeah.
He's king. He's king already. So really looking forward to big stuff tomorrow night from the King of the Ring. Moving on, number 2 that I wanted to talk about tonight, Damien Sandow coming out and kind of reinventing the Damien Sandow character. Talk to me about it.
I was disappointed it wasn't the intellectual savior Damien Sandow.
Did you think they were really going to go back to that, though?
No, but I was hoping it'd be kind of like intellectual savior-esque something.
Well,
I mean, they did bring it up, and he touched base on it, and
right.
he showed all the different characters he's played over the past year, like LeBron, Sandow.
Magneto was great.
Magneto was always awesome. I think didn't he do Abe Lincoln one time?
I think so,
I don't think they showed the picture for it.
Yeah, he did a lot of people. He did Crockett, Davy Crockett, I think.
Davy Crockett?
Yeah, one of the Crockett's. No, I liked that he kind of teased the intellectual savior, but didn't really. We need a new Sandow. I love new music, new look, new attitude, and up until Curtis Axel came out, I really do think that that was an epic. Shoot promos don't necessarily always work, but when they work well. I mean, it worked for Punk, it worked for Mark Henry during his retirement angle. When they work, they're so solid, and this is one I really think hit a home run with.
Well, he did really good playing off the crowd, and the crowd ate it up. And then when Curtis Axel came out, crowd went even crazier over it. It was just, they kept mocking each other back and forth during their little segment, and it kind of got a little too goofy for me. But I mean, all in all, it was still exciting and entertaining to watch. So I'm really hoping that they have a Curtis Axel versus Sandow match coming up in the future.
I think we'll see that. Honestly, we could even see that as early as SmackDown, or next Monday night on Raw. Like, I don't know if that would be your pay-per-view match.
I don't think it would be a pay-per-view match,
we'll
but
see
just
soon.
A little feud.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll see that soon.
What's next?
So we'll get down to. We'll let you take reins on this one real quick. Let's talk New Day. Because now this is the second day in a row, and this is something that you mentioned. The crowd was really eating up Damien Sandow. It was a really tough crowd, it seemed like, in Green Bay tonight. Tough crowd to figure out. So not quite the Chicago passionate crowd that we had the night before. So New Day now really wasn't getting the crowd pop that they did in Chicago. Now, is this an effect of... Is this a residual of them being in Green Bay and the crowd seemed to be a little bit more dead tonight? Or is it more that New Day isn't as over maybe as what we think?
No, New Day's over. They're completely over. I think it was just the crowd. It was a weird crowd. Sometimes they were into it, sometimes they weren't. It seemed like a very hard crowd to please. So I'm not gonna chalk that up to New Day not being over.
All right, let's get to two Divas segments that are, we'll call them ridiculous Divas segments of the night. The first one, it was a match between Fandango and Adam Rose. Adam Rose getting the win because Rosa Mendez interferes. So now we have Rosa Rose, apparently.
I think they're just going to be called Team Rose.
No, I think if they were to get married, it would be Rosa Rose.
Rosa Rose,
which sounds like the most bottom shelf boxed wine that you could buy.
Sounds like a stripper name.
Well,
next to the stage, Rosa Rose.
And that's the exact voice.
She strips all the time on Total Divas, so it's not really that much of a stretch for her.
That would be true. So that obviously that was more filler, and they did have a little interesting on, and you kind of hit upon it when we were discussing earlier, almost like an Edge Lita style PG version of
a little too freaky deaky in the ring there for a second. So. Well, we'll see. I mean, that didn't really seem too PG for the kiddies there, but that's just me. Now,
in Ridiculous Diva segment number 2, we had a backstage segment where Brie Bella is basically letting the WWE Universe know where Daniel Bryan's health, where he stands with his health. Obviously, she's a face at this point because she is talking about her husband. Her husband's super over. In comes Naomi with the jump attack from behind. And then Brie versus Naomi goes off. And the match, I thought, was not...
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't entertaining. It really wasn't anything. Someone needs to remind Brie that 2 weeks ago, literally 2 weeks ago, she was a heel. Don't give me none of this bullshit. Women aren't really heels. They're just crazy women. No. Yeah, they might be crazy, but they're not freaking bipolar all the time. I mean, she's acting like she did a year ago whenever Daniel Bryan was injured.
Right. Right.
So basically, all that time in between just never happened. She just reverted back to that Brie Bella. It makes absolutely no sense. Don't give me this. There's no heel, no faces. It's just poor fucking writing.
Well, here's, you know what, and to kind of piggyback off of that, I would be okay with there being no heels or faces with divas if there was
consistency.
No, if there was no heels and faces with guys either. Mm-hmm. Only because, where there was a time where they started to basically everybody went gray. There was no heel, there was no baby face. Everybody was kind of in this gray area. And they tested it out for a while, and it I don't want to say it didn't work. It kind of added some surprises, this, that, but at the end of the day, there has to be some defining, you could have gray characters, but you still need true faces and heels. Yeah. And I think where how the Bellas flip-flop without any explanation whatsoever is just kind of ridiculous.
From week to week. It's not even like every once in a while they flip without notice. It's from week to week at this point.
Right.
Like 2 weeks ago they were heels, and last week they were face, and at the pay-per-view they were heels again, and now they're face again. Like, they turn more than fucking Big Show. True,
yeah. Oh, that's tough to do. Are you sure?
It's true.
Okay.
They do.
Okay, that's tough.
At the rate they're going right now, they're going to turn heel and face another 8 times before the next pay-per-view.
Now, we'll talk about the big thing of the night, which was obviously everything dealing with Seth Rollins, the WWE Championship. We'll head back to the beginning of the show where, and I don't know where this came from, guys, but so all of a sudden we have Seth Rollins cutting a promo. We have Roman Reigns come out through the crowd looking very strong. Randy Orton also coming out. Kane's also out there. Now we have a bunch of promos being cut at the same time. Kane gets called the Crypt Keeper. You're a big Tales from the Crypt fan. Kane gets called the Crypt Keeper, although I think he looks like Dexter. He could be Dexter Morgan's father. I think that all of a sudden Seth Rollins gets called Justin Bieber. And Green Bay, if that's the one thing you got behind, I don't understand how that even got over.
I don't understand why they were Seth Rollins called Kane the Crypt Keeper. Kane called Rollins Justin Bieber, and then Orton came out and called Rollins
I think it was
Catwoman.
Reigns. I think it was Reigns.
No, it was Kane. They called him Justin Bieber, and then Orton came out and called him Catwoman. It was like, who's writing these little one-off promos for them? It's terrible.
And nobody wanted to make a Snake Pilsen.
Right off the bat of the show, it was terrible.
No Snake Pilsen reference?
Other than that, it was a great promo and great start to the show, I think.
Okay. See, and that's the one thing where you and I do disagree. Like, you thought it was a great opening. I thought it was too crowded, too convoluted, and it was just too much to start the show. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question, though. Do you think that Roman Reigns getting pushed out there literally 3 minutes into the show had anything to do with the leaked promo for Payback that got leaked out last Thursday? Do you think that had anything to play with it? Do you think this was the plan all along? Or do you think they would have waited till either later on in the show or maybe, next week to establish a triple threat?
I don't really think it matters. With the next pay-per-view being only 3 weeks away, they kind of have to hurry up and establish that triple threat feud. I don't really think it matters that video leaked when in the show they were going to bring him out. But it might have had something to do with it. You might be onto something.
Well, and I guess I should get back to one thing, too, because there was a backstage segment in the middle of the show where Kane and Seth Rollins basically go head-to-head again. Triple H isn't there, so Kane is in charge. Mm-hmm. Kane basically says, with no uncertain words, it's up to the WWE Universe who you're going to face, which he stated in the ring earlier. He said, but now I think I'm going to add a third stipulation on. It's not going to be, Randy Orton. It's not going to be just Roman Reigns. Now the fans have the option of Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. So the option for the triple threat match. As they're cutting the black, of course, WWE thinks their fans are going to act like Pavlov's dogs. And Seth Rollins is screaming, the last thing I want is a triple threat. The last thing I want is a triple threat. And remember, guys, your votes do really count. I didn't look at the final tally as far as the percentages go, I'll admit. But the triple threat did go over. That's what won. That's why we were having the triple threat match. Mm-hmm. Any surprise there, Sam?
No, not at all.
Was that the real vote, Sam?
Probably not. They had this plan probably for a month now.
Now, as far as the match goes, at the end, basically there was a tag team match between Randy Orton and Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins and Kane. The match itself, be honest, didn't do much for me.
Yeah, the most I got from that match were the commentators were just out of control.
The commentators were out there tonight. I think quote of the night for me was JBL that if you're a New Day fan, you must have the clap because you're a clapper. So I thought that was nice. That was a nice little one in there.
My favorite quote of the night didn't actually come from commentary. It came from Cena whenever he told Rusev to keep his pin strong.
Oh no, that he does keep his pimp hand strong.
Oh, he does.
He does keep his pimp hand strong.
My bad.
I think another one was Booker T was talking about. This was a good one. He was make sure you know who's buttering your bread. I thought that was interesting. He has this thing with butter. I mean, Booker, we love you. And listen, in Booker's defense, he's super excited. King of the Ring is back, and he can finally proclaim himself to be King Booker.
Yet again.
Sam, what else did you take away from Raw tonight? What was your favorite moment of the night? Match, moment, anything that way?
Favorite moment and match has got to be Adrian Neville. I'm sorry, Neville, not Adrian Neville. He had a great shooting star press, a moonsault, and a red arrow.
Yeah.
And it was just phenomenal. The match had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. They've got something special with him. I can't believe they didn't bring him up sooner. But they're doing a great job with pushing him.
And you know what? And the one thing I'll say, too, is that we kept saying they're putting Neville against the right guys. Well, here's a chance for them to put him up against another big guy. We had him against a bunch of smaller, quick guys. Then you had Wade Barrett, who, listen, he's a hybrid where he can work with anybody. Mm-hmm. Now, Luke Harper, who has been working with a lot of smaller guys, but you wouldn't think their styles would click like that. Yeah. And they absolutely meshed so well. One thing I did want to touch base on, Bray Wyatt, obviously his cryptic moments did come to fruition tonight. As Ryback was in a match with Bo Dallas. Of course, out of nowhere, you have Bray Wyatt come to save his brother, apparently. So, Ryback, if you better watch because you might be getting audited this year. We'll leave it at that. The tax man might come for his money.
He might.
But obviously, all the cryptic messages that we've seen for weeks now were aimed at Ryback. We saw Sister Abigail real quick. Didn't look like Ryback took it too well. What did you think, though, about the entire spot?
I liked that they started out with Bo Dallas, and because obviously he's Bray Wyatt's brother. So it was funny that Ryback was picking on Bo Dallas, and here comes Bray Wyatt to get him, which I don't understand why they did that, because there's not supposed to be any correlation between Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt.
Right. That's one thing.
I see where people are coming off there. They don't understand why they did that, but I don't know. I think I'm kind of bummed. I mean, going in, we all assumed it was going to be Ryback, but now knowing that it's officially Ryback, I'm kind of bummed that this is going to be the next Bray Wyatt feud.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Ryback.
I'm not a big Ryback fan, but if nothing else, we know that we have a lot to look forward to with Bray Wyatt promos. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah.
I'll say for me, high point of the night was Damian Sandow. Love seeing him break out like that. Love seeing Damian Sandow back and not with a gimmick. Let's see what Sandow can do on his own. Ride this momentum out. New music, new attitude, everything. I'm super pumped about that. Mm-hmm. So, Sam, any final thoughts on Raw? Want to give it a final letter grade tonight?
I will definitely give it a B+.
B+? I'll go C+. I'll go C+.
You're hard.
I'll go C+. Well, I went B on Extreme Rules. So I feel like if I gave Extreme Rules a B, I feel like Raw tonight I have to give... It can't go higher than Extreme Rules.
You were just hard to impress.
C+. No, I think there was just a lot of gaps. I think King of the Ring was awesome. I do think that there were some good spots. Obviously, Damian Sandow. Mm-hmm. I just think that the show didn't flow as well as the show could have. I felt like it had your really great spots, but other than that, it lagged, it skipped around, it didn't have any fluidity to it. So, I don't know. I think a C+, to be honest, might be a generous for tonight. Might be generous.
You say so.
So, guys, please make sure you're checking out WrestlingRumors.net. Please make sure you're subscribing to the Wrestling Rumors Net channel on YouTube. Once again, we want to give much condolences to the Gagne family, friends and family. It's a very sad day in the wrestling world. And we will see you guys next time, hopefully very soon, and maybe even sometime next week. Sometime this week.